My name is Joseph Green. I'm a spoken word artist, poet, educator, activist, and I am honored to be able to bring to you these videos. Part of my work has been working with young people in an effort to use poetry, spoken word, art as a means for them to be able to tell their story, heal, find a common bond with other young people who are going through the same thing, destigmatize the conversations that we need to have around substance use disorder and mental illness, and be able to tell those in power, those who make policy, exactly what it is they need and exactly what it is they're going through, and begin a dialogue that can actually perpetuate the change in the system that we need to save lives. I salute the bravery of these young people, and I hope that this experience is as mind-opening for you as it has been for me and the young people who have shared their stories with you.
Hi, my name's Anaya. I'm 17 years old, and my poem is called Dependence. The girl in my math class thinks the best way to go is by her own hand. Says she wants to wear a noose like a necklace and know how it feels to have sadness dance by her bedside. I want to lend her mine, to give her the bits of this brokenness and let her try it on like secondhand sweater, feel the weight of every suicide note on her chest and show her how it feels to make breathing a chore, make her rethink making this seem less burden and more beauty. But who am I to judge her when I'm still writing my sickness in present tense? As if depression and I still be lovers entangled beneath my bed sheets instead of a distant darling that smells like yesterday's dirty laundry, the kind I never bothered to do anyways, because for once something smelled worse than the stench of death I grew far too fond of. Because what else would you expect someone who is already dead to smell like? And maybe I like being sick, maybe it makes me feel interesting or feel anything at all, because the numbness is enough to drive me crazier than they already think I am. I'd rather be suffering than stoic, and maybe that makes me a masochist for wanting to die just to feel alive, just to feel at all. And is it still relapse when you never really recovered? When you threw away the razors but didn't stop hurting yourself, just learned to make scars that don't show up on skin? Is it still relapse when you're doing it because you love yourself? Because your body believes it's bloodshed, a sacred kind of beauty, thinks you more martyr than murder? Is it still self-harm when it doesn't hurt anymore? When it's so easy to want to stop breathing, it's like breathing, still self-harm when you like it. When it feels good to feel this bad, still bad. When it's more security blanket than sickness, feels safe in its grasp because you know if you go, it'll be by your own doing. Without it, you are a glass half empty, and it's no fun having a head above water when you are used to being so full of sadness you're drowning. And when the girl in my math class says she wants to know how it feels to be suicidal, will want to lend her my sadness, but won't. Because after all, what am I without it?
Hi, my name is Lauren, and the name of my poem is So Far Gone. 3 teenagers, squished into the back seat, cloudy. The blunt is finally passed, and ash falls, burns a hole in her sweatshirt. She doesn't notice. She wonders, just how far gone are you when you know how to manipulate the backseat of a car better than your confidence? Just how far gone are you when you can read minds and take orders before they are even spoken? Just how far gone do you have to be before you realize you're going in the wrong direction? See, nobody ever asks after the kids who familiarize themselves with the contours of a backseat, or the kids who can twist and bend our bodies to angles too acute and obtuse to ever be considered right. Nobody ever asked how corrupted their minds have to be to feel at home in the confines of a clouded car. Nobody ever asked about the correlation between drug use and sexual assault, smoke and ashes, liquid submission. How far gone do they have to be? How far gone was I, that I couldn't bear to lift a hand, kick a leg, in defiance? How far gone are you when your body feels like noodles in the hands of a 2-year-old? Putty, clay, ready to be molded and folded, roll boy turned Pinocchio, lifeless limbs, soulless stares, heavy hands, liquid lust, still smoke. Nobody ever asks of the kids so depressed that they get high just to balance out their lows so back seats are all they know. How far gone do they have to be before somebody realizes that they are not doing this for fun? Memorizing contours and controls of back seats, taking orders before they are spoken, too far gone to protest. How far gone do we have to be for somebody to send help? How far gone will we be when somebody finally sends help?
I think I wrote this poem for 2 reasons. One was to sort through and kind of figure out all the things that I was feeling in regards to my own mental health. And the second was because I feel like it's so important for not only youth, but youth of color to hear poems like this about mental health, to kind of release the stigma around it, because in the African American community especially, it's something that's not talked about. You keep it kind of hush-hush, you keep it in the closet. They tell you, like, go to church, pray about it. Like, I wanted to write this poem to give not only myself a voice, but other people a voice for what might be going on inside of their head. I think one big correlation between addiction and substance abuse and mental illness, especially when it comes to youth, is sometimes when we say things about the way that we're feeling, we're not taken seriously. So we want to take it into our own hands and to make this feeling go away in any way possible that we can. So you start finding things, anything to take away how you're feeling. And I equate addiction a lot of the time with self-harm, because people look at it and they're like, oh, they're doing that doing that to take away the pain. But I think addiction is the same thing. Kids who are self-medicating using pot or prescription drugs are doing the exact same thing that kids who are self-harming are doing. It's us trying to do whatever we can to take away those feelings that we're feeling. When people aren't listening to us, they're not getting us the help that we need. I hope if this poem could accomplish anything, it would be to either touch someone who is hearing it in a way so that they understand the way that they're feeling, or to wake up someone who might know someone who's struggling with mental illness and not understand why they are kind of stuck in that cycle of it.
I actually wrote this poem for a friend of mine. We have very similar situations that we've been through, dealing with drugs and sexual assault, and I felt like I was the only one, and I'm not. And I wrote that for him so that we could share our story. It's important to share the story because so other people won't have to go through the same thing. When you live your truth and you speak your truth out loud in a way that it heals other people, so that they hear what you went through and they don't have to go through the same thing, because they know better now. And it's also healing just in general for yourself when you write your truth onto paper and speak it out loud. It's healing in poetry.